Hi, Nuno. So, not so long ago, you wrote a really interesting post in the EB discussion space. And in it, you asked, what informs our practices and remains unconscious, nature or mechanics? Now, I'm wondering what prompted this? What got you thinking about this? And was there a particular moment that started you on this deep dive?
Yes, I've been thinking about this subject, and I see it's easier to see in others what I do.
True.
Um, so I heard a friend of mine talking about a client, and the client was mentioning that he had problems in the neck. So he had to be cautious about moving the neck, and she was complying with that complaint by protecting the movement of the neck using pillows and things to prevent movement, more movement there. And for me, it sparked my attention and say, hey, yes, this is actually what we do usually, what I see doing. If we have a problem in a part of the body, we tend to block or to restrain that area from moving, uh, not to injure it more. And less movement is only good for a compressive structure.
Yeah.
And if we have a tense or compressive structure like we are by a biotensegrity structure, we need movement. That's movement that can uh, redirect and reshape forces and intentions within the system to make
Mhm.
it functional again, or more functional,
Nice.
let's say.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that. So have you been noticing other patterns when you examine this question? And I'm really curious to know, like, what's the stickiest for you in your own work right now? What do you see coming up the most for you when it's like,
Hmm.
oh no, I did it again? I think we all know
Yeah.
that in
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
ourselves or
yeah.
see that in ourselves.
So the last thing that struck me, and I was like, what? Am I feeling this? Yes, I'm feeling this. I was looking at an explanation in a biotensegrity phrasing way of facilitating movement, and compared to a biomechanical explanation of the same movement. And I actually found or felt that the biotensegrity explanation was too um, free, too
Mm,
too much floppy, and like just move.
yeah,
That's what I heard from the
yeah.
words, and I said, yeah, that's exactly what I do with my clients. What I try to facilitate them. It's to, yeah, don't think about how do I breathe or how do I move, or just move. Yeah, move. That's how you should move and feel what you feel while you move. But
Mhm.
that, when I heard it from someone else, felt like almost a no-no, an aggression to the cleanness of the linear
Yeah,
movement, of the clean movement that I learned and that
yeah.
I learned to work with
So
before.
what we so since I don't know how long ago that was, but has that um, impacted what you're doing right now, or have you even had time to explore it?
Yes, 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 it did. Um, and it's quite an effort to get away from the compressive model and what
Yeah.
that conveys in your practice, the structured, aligned, uh, predetermined,
Hmm.
expected movement and alignments in the body in a certain movement. It's very hard to leave that apart and say, let me let me see what's emerging. Let me see what's
Hmm.
coming out from these cue or these sequence of uh, commands that I'm giving. How is that impacting the body in front of me?
Hmm.
Um, do I see the alignments that I was expecting? Can I see what is emerging? um, it's not easy to stay open to
Yeah.
these, to all these that emerges, and some things are not clear and
Yeah.
not very evident when you see them. So
Yeah.
that's one of the challenges, the biggest challenges for me. Yeah.
I, I think it's a challenge for a lot of people. Okay, so let's dive into some specific examples. In your
Mm,
post, you talked about pack the neck and the obsession that people have with core stability, as well as the fact that you see many people preferring to work with machines over free weights. So I
mm,
wonder what these practices or what these things reveal about how the conventional model shapes our relationship or shapes people's relationship with control, safety, and trust in the body's intelligence. Um, yeah, and how you see these beliefs playing out
yeah.
in general.
Yeah, for the practitioner, the facilitator, or in the biomechanical perspective, the coach, the teacher, um, it seems it seems easier to stay in the known of a clear direction a machine puts the movement in, or the ranges that the machine restrains mechanically. Um, because it can settle a safer environment, supposedly safer environment, because it restrains movements in planes, supposedly planes, and etc. um, and also for the one that the client may feel also safer and more secure to have something that has a predetermined movement or range with supports, external supports.
Mhm.
Um, we know that it's not safer in that way. It can be leading to more injury in the perspective of movement a biotensegrity view. But in a almost subconscious emotional level, it may give a sense of security to the practitioner, to the one that practices and the one that facilitates. And the vision of the packing the neck or the core stability has also to do with that. If I see the stability of the body as something that restrains movement and controls, and we understand control as something that is a restraint and not control as a as the ability to see every more at the same time,
Mhm.
which is a spread view instead of a narrow view. Then those pectinex and core stabilities by tightening and
Mhm.
they make sense in the biomechanical perspective, in a compressive perspective, in a control restrictive perspective, instead of a biotensegrity, which has um, uh, emergencies, uh, not emergencies, but
I know
emergent
what you mean.
things and
Emergent properties, emergent qualities, emergent
properties.
movements,
Yeah,
basically things that we couldn't necessarily predict. That's
yeah,
what you mean, I
exactly.
think.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean, exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting what you say too, because as you know, the modern Western lens has so much impacted all of us that have grown up in the West by putting on these constraints. You have to do it this way and such. And one of the things I find in with people who have been working in Trailblazers and such is that there's an unpacking of that and a shifting that
Hmm.
as we learn to listen to our bodies, it seems to change everything. And as we have these small group discussions in I call it a hierarchical learning environment where it's not top down,
Yeah.
people start to trust themselves more. People start to to share what they feel, and to me, that's really exciting. But let me get back on topic here. And I am wondering when a person who's trained in the continuous compression model, which, as you said, the spine is like a stack of bricks that requires alignment and constraint, etc. What does the shift to biotensegrity ask of them? So
Hmm.
is that a clear question, or do you want me to rephrase
Yeah,
that?
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I think it resumes to it asks for the person to believe in their perception of
Mm,
him or herself as a body, as a living body, more than the perspective coming from a book or a
mhm,
third person addressing the same subject. So the somatic approach, the perception of the self through the self realization, let's say, it's what is required from the person in front of you. So it requires self-esteem, self-awareness. It's a lot of self-reflection and realizing that you are as important in talking about yourself, or more important even, than a book or a doctor or a
yeah,
specialist of anything. I think
yeah.
that's the main thing that is required for you to change from one perspective to the other, because biotensegrity talks to your practice and your experience once you know
Mhm,
it. That's one of the most things that kept me coming uh, to these groups and to these discussions,
mhm,
because these concepts, they talk to my experience
mhm.
totally. Like,
Yeah, nice. So really this practice of self-awareness, and I would say from inside. How does it
yeah,
feel inside? And you did mention somatic practices, and one of the things I can't resist bringing up is that you're also doing very strong practices like kettlebells and such. And the reason why I bring it up is because there are many circles that associate somatic practices with very soft and gentle movement. I'm wondering if you want to say something about
yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 totally. It's not only regarding somatic practices. Is I can bring an example to Pilates. Now you have a lot of clinical Pilates, and
Mhm,
you see Pilates being done um, as something that is very specific, very small movements, with no external loads at all. Everything very controlled, let's say, and very small and very light. And that can be a necessary phase where you come to a studio, where you come to search for help. You may need that help. If you have something broken, you cannot start to by the rehabilitation of putting load on that something broken. First,
mhm,
you need a softer healing phase. The healing goes on because you need to go to the world and expect the unexpected loads
mhm, mhm,
arriving to you and aggressions. So the somatic practice, something that you feel for yourself, you need to be able to feel for yourself if the outside noise is very controlled, so a very small, soft, easy thing to feel or easier to feel, but you need to take it to to the the world, to reality.
yeah,
And reality is not that little bubble of existence where you speak soft, the music is soft, the ground is soft, you're lying down, you have a support of the ground. No, you maybe need to jump and to run to pick up the bus or whatever, and you need to be ready for that and sense where you are while doing that, not
Hmm.
forget about where you are. So the use of kettlebells and other heavy stuff material,
Hmm.
it's very good, but it can be built until you get there with more confidence and with more awareness instead
Hmm.
of just doing it mechanically, um, or mimicking someone else.
Great, thank you. So let's bring this to a close now. But first, I want to ask you one more question, and that is so you invited the community to help identify these practices and cues that show us these unconscious beliefs. And we're taking this discussion to Trailblazers on December 17th. So you'll be bringing this as a conversation starter to the movement mentor session. And I am wondering, where do you hope the conversation leads?
I better not have many expectations because these conversations evolve to places that we never expected. People's experiences are so different,
Yeah.
and they are all valuable. So if I try to say, no, 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 your experience is not welcome to my discussion. We go this way. I'm losing the richness of a
Nice.
discussion. So, well, I hope people have some opinion about what I wrote, and I'm sure they have. I hope they have give a little bit of thought about the main question. Do you think
Mhm.
as a in a machine model, or are you influenced by nature? Because you need to go through to have gone through an experience. For me, it's like that. For me to be interested in a discussion, I need to have had an experiential that called my attention to that. Otherwise, it's just an intellectual discussion, which is okay.
Mhm.
But I hope people connect to their practice and are really true to themselves,
Nice.
saying, I do say that. Like
Mhm.
Stephen Levin says, I still think when I try to explain, I still find myself saying that the biceps pulls the forearm towards the arm. I still
Yeah.
fall in that mistake because that's where knowledge came from. So if people are true to themselves, there will be a very rich discussion.
Thank you. I love that. And I just want to say for anybody who's watching this in the EB discussion space, we'd love to see you at the Zoom session on at the Trailblazers session, but please don't stop yourself if you can't make it. There's a comment section right below this video, and your experiences are valuable, just as valuable as anyone else's. So this discussion can be going on well, is going on in different places now.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Nuno.
Thank you very much, Chris.